Alright, so in today's video I want to talk about meditation and why it's important, not only because it's something I do every single day, but because it's something that really does have the ability to change your life. Not in some sort of, cliche or weird new agey way where it's going to make everything magical happen. And I'm not talking about that sort of stuff. I'm talking about it's going to make you just feel better. I would say meditating makes you feel 10 to 30% better every day. If I had to put a number on it, I'd say 30%, roughly 20 or 30% better. You will get those effects just by meditating for 10 minutes a day. You don't need to spend a long time on this. 10 minutes a day is more than enough to receive these benefits, to be able to feel better, and to just go through your day with, the best way I have of describing it is it's just like going through your day without really worrying about anything. You don't stress about things. The guy that cuts you up in traffic, you don't really worry about that. Whereas normally you might have, beeped your horn or shouted, or you might have internalized that stress, right? With meditation, you don't worry about that sort of stuff. You just let it go. You observe your thoughts, and then at that moment you decide how to react. It's a very different way of living. Most people are stuck in the limbic system, right? The reptilian part of their brain, which is associated with the fight or flight response. But in a nutshell, it means, like, say if you, let's use that example actually. You're driving along, some guy cuts you up in traffic. Your instant gut reaction, right? Your limbic system says fight or flight, and in most cases you choose, like, I'm going to put quotation marks, fight, because you're not really fighting, you're just sort of expressing anger, whether that's beeping your horn, swearing, shouting, driving fast to catch up to the guy, and then like tailgating him, or whatever it is. People do this crazy stuff in traffic, but it's centered and manifests from your limbic system. You're just not able to control your emotions, so you have this gut reaction to the situation, which your limbic system thinks is really stressful. But in reality, what actually happened? Okay, some guy drove in front of you, you pumped the brakes, you're safe, you're alive, hopefully you didn't hit the guy. So at that moment, the stress should end and your body should go back into a relaxed state. But what happens is most people internalize that stress and they carry it with them. Maybe even for the whole evening or even the next day, they'll be constantly thinking about the situation and making themselves angry again and again and again. And there's been lots of studies to show the effects of stress over time. It's not good. Okay, stress is. It's been said that the only real problem that humans have, the only disease or dysfunction that the human body experiences, is chaos at an atomic level. Meaning, everything can be broken down into the effects things have on you at an atomic level. Now, stress is very bad for every part of your body. Okay, it affects everything, your mindset, your immune system, your gastrointestinal system, literally everything is affected by stress. And so it's almost ironic and funny in a way that people actually are so unaware of this, that they will become stressed by something like the guy cutting you up in traffic, like your food being late when you're at a restaurant, or even just something someone said on Twitter, or a YouTube comment, or these things are so insignificant and meaningless in the grand scheme of things that it is mind-blowing to me that people really do internalize those things and take them from a concept, right? Because that's all they are. They're just concepts. A tweet on Twitter, what does it really mean? It's just text on the screen, right? The only way it can affect you is if you take that tweet, bring it into your conscious mind, interact with it, and tell yourself and make yourself stress about it in a way that makes you angry, sad, frustrated, upset, whatever. But people do that. Every day people do that. Every single day people take things like, what's happening on the news or what's happening in their TV show, what people say about them, what they think people think about them, and they take that and internalize it, turning it into stress. And stress over time causes disease. It breaks down your immune system. It makes you feel worse. And it's completely avoidable. It is completely 100% avoidable. Now, I've gone off at a massive tangent here. I was talking about meditation. The reason meditation is so important is because it allows you to massively reduce the stress you experience in your life. So to the point where you'd almost never experience stress. And I know that sounds like a big claim. It might even sound a bit exaggerated, a bit silly, or a bit unrealistic, but it really does. I've been meditating almost every day for the last 5 years. It has made a huge difference in my life, to the point where like almost everyone that knows me will agree that I'm so level-headed and calm in almost every situation, right? I rarely, if ever, let things upset me, stress me out, make me. And even if I do, like even if it's say an actual dangerous situation, like say a car almost hits me, my stress response is so healthy now because of meditation that I'm able to identify the stress. The fight or flight response happens within milliseconds of my limbic system identifying the stress. I jump out of the way of a car, say for example, and within seconds my body is starting to calm down, starting to reduce the stress hormones in my system, and I go about my day, right? I don't carry any of that stress into the present moment and into the future because it's just not worth it. All it does is make you sick and depressed and sad, right? So meditation is able to do a lot of things. It temporarily makes you feel more relaxed when you do it, but it also permanently changes the way your brain is wired. It also permanently changes things called telomeres. Now, a telomere this video is going to be quite a long one, I can tell now. The video was fine until he started rambling about telomeres and random long scientific words. Like, I'll try and keep this as simple as I can. So if you imagine your DNA, your chromosomes, right? On the end of those chromosomes are things called telomeres. Now, if you imagine a shoelace, on the end of a shoelace, you've got that small plastic cap which stops the shoelace from fraying. Okay, this is how you're able to tie your shoes, because it's like something to hold on to so you can twist the ropes in and out of each other. Your telomeres are like the protective caps on the end of your chromosomes. Now, what happens as we age, as we go through time, we add our chromosomes and DNA breaks down, and as the telomeres shorten with age, your cells are less able to regenerate and protect themselves until what eventually happens is the cells either mutate, right? And this is things like cancer, they mutate into random things, or they degenerate or die. This is how humans age, and this is why everything in your body essentially gets worse and worse the older you get, to the point where you eventually die. Kind of morbid, I know, but there's a bright side to this. I'm going to bring it back around. So your telomeres are the protective caps, the shields that you have against that process. Meditation makes your telomeres longer. And when I first heard that, my mind was blown, because I thought, how can something as simple as sitting down, doing nothing, essentially reverse or slow down the aging process, as well as reduce the risk of things like cancer? It's insane, right? It's unheard of. But that is the truth. There's been many studies to show this. If I remember, I'll try and link to them in the description. But essentially what meditation does is it enables you to lengthen your telomeres, as opposed to just letting them slowly get shorter and shorter with age, to the point where your cells mutate or die. So the long-term effects of meditation are not only you don't feel stress, but you actually live longer and have less risk of things like cancer and cell mutation and other diseases. So it's huge, absolutely huge. And all you have to do to get those benefits, all you need to do is to sit down for 10 minutes in the morning and do nothing. That's literally it. But the thing is with this meditation stuff, right? Most people find it very hard to sit down and do nothing. Now, you might think that you could do it easily, but the chances are when you're actually procrastinating, doing nothing, you're not doing nothing. You're actually engaging with content. You're, abusing your dopamine system by scrolling through Instagram for hours on end, or you're watching a YouTube video, right? These are all dopamine related activities linked to your reward pathway. That is not the same as meditation. Meditation is all about completely disconnecting your brain or your awareness from that system. So it's actually the complete opposite of doing nothing. You're really, when you normally procrastinate, you're engaging with something, you're releasing dopamine, you're consuming content, reading, watching a film, listening to music. These are all things that are using the system of dopamine, the reward system. When you meditate, I should say, you actually are doing none of that. So you might have thoughts. You might be thinking, oh, I want to watch this film, or I want to cook this certain meal for dinner. You might have these thoughts, but because you're not actively engaging with those thoughts, you're able to disconnect from the noise that is happening within your brain. I'm going to call it noise, okay, because that's really what it is. It's sort of like a constant conversation going on between you and yourself, this constant mind chatter. And it's fine, for the most part, but unless you disconnect from that, you'll always be stressed. You'll never truly experience serenity. And that's really the best way I could describe this, is you're aiming for serenity, complete calmness and peace within yourself. So by meditating, you disconnect from all that noise and you bring yourself into a place of awareness and calm. Even if it's just for 10 minutes a day, like I said, even if you don't want to do it, 10 minutes a day is nothing when you consider the benefits you're going to get, which is no stress, reduced risk of cancer and other degenerative mutated diseases, and you'll live longer. The benefits are much more important and higher up the value chain than the cons. The cons, the negatives of this, you're going to spend 10 minutes a day sitting down doing nothing, right? Absolutely the tiniest price to pay for the benefits that you're going to get. It's often also said that if you don't have time to meditate, you need it more than anyone else. It's been said that meditation gives more time than it takes away. And what this means is, you may have heard this sort of thing said with other things as well. Like you might have heard, your grandparents say something like, if you wake up before 6 a.m, every hour before 6 is worth 2 after 6. Or with bedtimes, every hour that you go to sleep before 10 is worth 2 after 10, or something like this, right? The idea is that not every hour is equal, with that at least. And so with meditation, the idea is that if you just spend this 10 minutes doing this meditation, it will feel like you're getting more out of your day, just because you're more aware and relaxed. So really, everyone can find 10 minutes to do this, especially when you consider everything I've just said. Now this video it's probably gone on long enough, so I'm going to end it there for now. This is an introduction to meditation, just explaining sort of what it is. In the next video, I'm going to try and talk about how to meditate and the best way of getting started. So yeah, leave a comment, leave a like actually. Yes, you should leave a like, leave a comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.